I don't know. What are we just introducing ourselves right now? And like what?
I mean, I guess just like some brief background and then like whatever ended up happening that got you into,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
I guess the decision to go to school for
Yeah.
it. We could start there.
I think it's been like coming on 4 years. That just makes more sense because it's been 2 years since I got my laser license. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
But you got that very shortly after I started. Like you finished it
Yeah.
shortly after I started.
Yeah. So I'm not just an esthetician. I'm an esthetician and a licensed laser tech and electrologist. And I found the skincare industry or got interested in the skincare industry when I really kind of during COVID. Because
Same.
I was working at an insurance company in customer service and quickly realized that I didn't really want to be sitting at a desk all day long. It's not something that I was interested in. Also, it was COVID and people kind of got mean and cranky. So I decided that I was going to leave that job and go to school full time. And then immediately, first place I interviewed at, only place I interviewed at was Bella Gina. And I went into the interview saying, I don't want this job because it was a front desk job. And I
Mhm.
was like, I did this to get away from working at a desk. I don't want this job. So I'm just doing it to get some practice in. And also we both had the same teacher, obviously different times, but
Mhm.
Miss Lisa, our teacher, she was like hounding me about it. She was like, Jade, you need to just like go interview. And I was like, I don't want to. And she was like every day she'd be like, just send them your resume. Like if you don't want to
Mhm.
talk to them, just send them your resume. And finally I was like, okay. And we'd gotten like further into school too. And I was kind of realizing like, I don't think I'm going to leave school and then immediately go like practice on somebody and like work on somebody and like give them a facial even
It
because
almost doesn't make sense. Like
there's just not enough time and not enough training. So I caved, sent my application or sent my resume in and then went in for the interview and then I was like, oh, I think I actually like it there. And then they offered me the job and I took it and literally never interviewed anywhere else. And I think a good portion of why I got the job was because I went into that interview thinking, well, I don't really even want this job. So I wasn't as anxious about it
yeah.
because I've never not been anxious for an interview. Like anytime I've gone to interview, it's like I need this job. So I'm
Mhm.
like, and this was like the first job that I'd ever got into just being like, I don't want it. And it worked out because I would have never gotten my laser license if I
Mhm.
hadn't worked there and our boss hadn't pushed me into, in a boss nice way, not a, like aggressive way,
Encourage your development.
encouraged me to go to school
Yes.
to get that laser license. But yeah, so that's kind of what led me to where I'm at currently. It's the only job in the industry that both of us have had. That's where I'm at. What about you?
So similar to Jade, it was during COVID when I got really into skincare. I had been in and around skincare for a number of years. My mother's an esthetician, and so I mean, I say that, but like it really wasn't like a very prominent part of my life. Like I knew that that's what she did. It wasn't
Yeah.
really like this thing that she would come home and talk about
Yeah.
because realistically, I don't think that she was terribly passionate about it. I think it was really kind of just a job for her.
Mm.
She got into it, realized that you have to like extract pimples on occasion, and absolutely like, she almost, like, left school. When she found out that she had to pop pimples on occasion, she almost said, "Absolutely not," which is hilarious because so many people love that part.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like what leads people to it sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah.
but she had been doing it for a number of years. She primarily worked in, offices with physicians. She worked at, a plastic surgeon's office for a number of years, but then at the same time, like, what she focused on was much more of that, like, experiential piece. She ultimately got trained in reflexology and decided to use that as a complement to her facial services. She would actually use it pre and post-op for
Mm.
people that were, in the
Yeah.
plastics department. They would go to her prior to surgery, kind of just like as a supplement to, whatever other pre-op work you were doing and,
Yeah.
post care for recovery, relaxation, that kind of thing, depending upon how much you believe in reflexology. Thing that I think got me most interested in skincare was the fact that I was dealing with acne basically since I was like 13, 14, like,
Yeah.
a lot of teenage boys. Even with her being an esthetician, bringing home on occasion like some products and stuff. I mean, sometimes she would bring home products and they'd be really, really effective, and other times they wouldn't really be. But like, she wasn't in a position to like really effectively help me with that because
Yeah.
it wasn't the thing that she specialized in. And so it never really got fully resolved. But she's also of the ilk that believes that dermatologists aren't like the best thing in the world. And so she never really went out of her way to take me to one,
Mhm.
which meant that those prescription options I was never really faced with. And so, for whatever reason, she chose not to do that. And so it wasn't until I was in my early to mid 20s when I was literally looking online, and I remember looking at the different like website
Mhm.
and the before and afters. I was like, well, these are incredible.
Mhm.
I was like, this is amazing. And I had tried so many things. I say tried so many things. People are like, oh, I tried everything. I tried everything. I did not try everything
Yeah.
because I never went to a dermatologist.
Well,
But I had tried a lot of the things that she had brought home.
yeah.
And so, and I was under, because, she's the one that raised me. I was under the impression that even if I went to go see a dermatologist, it wouldn't really result in anything because
Yeah.
she had it in her mind that they weren't really good at resolving acne. And so I never went to go see one. So those treatments I never really tried, but I saw it and there was something, it was very interesting because it was one of the first times where I remember like you get the like whatever it is and like you have like the pamphlet that like
Mhm.
has the instructions for use, and on the pamphlet for different it says takes 3 to 6 months, and I said,
Mhm.
well, that's unfortunate, but I'm going to commit to it.
Yeah.
And I did, and then my skin started to get much, much better. And then that kind of just like from there I was like, well, this is interesting. And then when the pandemic started, I remember, and I think I told you about this, there was the esthetician Caroline Hirons. She started doing like daily lives
Yeah.
from home, basically just like talking about like cleansing and then talking about exfoliating and then talking about moisturizing. Like she just like had these little mini master classes on all these different topics within
Yeah.
skincare. And I was like absolutely fascinated by it. Before then, I think I found the esthetician that is neither alive nor dead
Mhm.
just before that. And so I was already kind of like getting into it. But
Yeah.
then when the pandemic started,
When pandemic.
when pandemic started, that's when it, like, really took off, I would say,
Yeah.
because I already kind of had this interest, and then I was just sitting there at home,
Yeah.
and, like, that's what was available, and I was watching it.
Yeah.
Really started to learn a lot more. Dr. Sam Bunting, I found her videos in part because I was watching Carolyn Hirons. They're both from the UK, and so they were, in a similar
Mhm.
space. And then also the Emma Gunn Show. She's a podcast creator in the UK, and she knows Carolyn Hirons and Dr.
Mm.
Sam Bunting. And so I was kind of like in this weird little world of UK skincare.
Mhm.
And then just got very interested in it and decided at some point when it was determined that I was gonna be moving to Florida, I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna
Mhm.
just, go ahead and go back to school." Because I have my bachelor's in something completely unrelated to skincare,
Yeah.
global and international studies with
It's gonna get you real far.
with minors in religious studies, psychology, and anthropology. Just like nursing. Very
Yeah.
straightforward. Loved that experience. I think it did actually prepare me thoroughly for a lot of different kinds of jobs, but it was not like you get this degree for that job kind of situation.
Yeah.
And so after I graduated, there wasn't like a very clear through line.
Yeah.
And so I decided because it takes so little time in Florida to become an esthetician, I was like, okay, well, so
Yeah.
this is something that I could do. It wouldn't be like a huge investment of time or money. So if
Yeah.
it didn't pan out, it wasn't going to be like I was out 4 more years or
Right.
$30,000 of student debt.
Right.
So it kind of felt like there wasn't really much to lose. And so then when I moved here, I wanted to wait a year to get in-state tuition
Yeah.
because it was gonna be, like, literally 4 times as expensive.
Yeah.
Still, like, as far as schooling is concerned, not that expensive, but when the base price is still, like,
Yeah, you
a
don't
couple
wanna pay
thousand
more just to
dollars.
pay more, yeah.
Exactly, and I was still, like, kinda getting my footing here, and so I kind of just spent that entire year.
If you would've gone the year before, though, you probably would've got it paid for, because I got a grant because
See,
of,
it's
like, COVID
I
times,
know,
and
and
it
I
paid for
didn't
it.
it I was not
I didn't
aware
even
of these
ask for the
things.
grant. My teacher was just like, "Go online and fill this out." And I was like, "No, no, no, no. Like, I'm not gonna get this. Like, I've made too much money, like, when I was working." And she was
Mhm.
like, "No, they don't care. Everybody's gonna get it." And I was like, "Okay."
Well, that would have been nice. I did pay for it out of pocket, and absolutely worth it. I mean, for what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, the esthetician that is neither alive or dead.
Mm.
I remember there was a video that she made, and somehow it came up, and she was like, "School is for getting your license."
Um,
And so that is how I approached it. I knew that it was just about checking off that
mhm.
particular box. I also like it's either on the job training or it is personal study. You will not have, if you find a good esthetician, they're not a good esthetician because they went to a good school.
No.
I guess that is what I'm saying.
No.
They are a good esthetician because they either have enough experience or they
Yeah.
took the time to go and do additional
You
training.
have to, like, search out the information yourself. You have to, like, learn about the ingredients because,
Ingredients specifically.
like, that is not talked about in school. I feel like the most ingredient-wise that we talked about in class was, like, vitamin C for some reason. I remember us talking about vitamin C
Mhm.
a lot, which is great. Love vitamin C, but, like, I don't remember us talking about many other ingredients at all for some
There
reason. Like,
It wasn't set up for that, I
no.
don't think. I mean,
No.
vitamin C is kind of like an easy thing to talk about because it's not, I mean, there's a lot to talk about
Yeah.
with vitamin C, but, like, the basics,
And, like, our
straightforward.
test had nothing like, nothing about ingredients
No.
on it. It's like it was like, "You need to understand the skin," but even then, like, we're gonna give you the base knowledge of that.
You need to know how to safely give a facial,
Yeah.
wax someone,
Yeah.
and
Even though we spent I think our waxing was, like, 2 days of training.
of, like, the practical.
Yeah.
I mean, because that was the thing is, like, you would spend some time, like, studying, like, learning what the contraindications
Yeah.
would be so
Yeah.
that you could decide, "Okay, can this person safely receive XYZ service?" And then have a certain number of, practical sessions where you've
Yeah.
actually done the thing. And then the makeup
I was gonna
person,
say we had to do makeup.
I
Which was literally just me going to school with my bag of makeup and spending all day doing a look, taking it off, doing another look. Because again, I went more peak COVID time than you did.
Mhm.
So we didn't really have other people to work on. Like we could work on
We weren't wearing
each
masks when I
other.
went.
We weren't wearing masks, but like, we couldn't bring anybody in. Like the
Mhm.
outside couldn't come in.
Mm.
And it's a technical school. A lot of the people in the school are men. They're not going to
Lots
come
of
and
men.
get their makeup done. They did like to come and get facials, I think just because they wanted to not be in class, but they're not going to come and let us do makeup on them. And
No,
so
that would be gay.
that would be gay. I did do a brow wax on this guy once at school, and I like was so, I only did a little bit because I was like, he's not gonna want, and then like showed him it in the mirror, and he's like, "Do you think you could like actually shape them?" And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Gay.
He was in like mechanics or something. I
They
mean,
all
he could
are.
be gay. He could be gay.
They all are.
Um,
Or, like, HVAC, do that
yeah.
there. Woodworking,
Oh, was
pharmacy tech.
it actually
Those were
woodworking
all
though?
women.
Or
No, there were lots of
oh,
things.
we never interacted with the pharmacy techs.
I didn't either, but I know that it's there. There's
Oh.
also dental hygienists.
Yeah, that's at a different campus though. There's multiple
That would make
campuses.
sense.
We were at the nicer campus.
When I was looking at going to this school, I was like, should I go to this campus or that campus? Because they offer the aesthetics program at the other one.
Oh, they do?
They do.
It's just it's not a newer building. It's not as
The East Campus?
yeah,
I mean,
unless they redid it from the last time I saw
they
it.
may have redone it. I don't know. I mean, it looked fine. And I would have been able to just hop on the road, go right down the street, and basically I would be there. But I literally chose the main campus because I figured that the students in the class and in the school would be more diverse.
Yeah.
You'd have like a broader range of perspectives there. And I think that that was ultimately true. But I lucked out because that's also where Miss Lisa teaches.
Right.
And she was fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think that a lot of people that trained to become estheticians can say that they were trained by a doctor,
Yeah.
much less a doctor that specialized in plastics.
Yeah.
Like when I mean, she wasn't a plastic surgeon herself, but she would assist on a lot of those procedures. And
Let's not tell her we have a podcast.
would be so happy.
Oh
Oh my God,
God.
she would
She
listen
would
to.
cry.
She would probably make her students listen to it.
She
She would like,
would.
see,
She would.
they're doing things.
Maybe we should tell her we have a podcast. She would be like, "Oh, my baby."
Yes.
And then give us a big hug.
She'll probably cry. She'll
Yeah,
cry.
she would cry. Like when she when she came to that event and saw like she came to like say hi to us, and then I think somebody else was there that she didn't realize was there still, and then she was like, oh my goodness, all my babies are here, and I was like, could see tears in her eyes. She cried the day like that was our last day,
Mm,
like when we like got her like the flowers
same.
and everything. She cried every time she hugged each of us like for a picture. Like she's just the cutest
She
person
was
ever.
amazing.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Nothing about Miss Lisa initially. I don't even know.
Oh, how we got into, yes. So then
Yeah,
I ended up going
yeah.
to that school,
Yeah.
and then Miss Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
so same instructor. So the only reason that this, I mean, she may have brought it up as another point if we didn't have this conversation, but the way it was set up was that you would have like theory days and practical days. Like the
Yeah.
practical days were like just services. Like you
Yeah.
were basically doing them back to back to back. Like there wasn't any like, oh, let's get ready to do our services. Let's go over our notes. It was like you get
Yeah.
there, you're getting your stuff ready, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But on the theory days, which are my favorite days, because you could just like sit there and like be a student, which
You're
is like
such a nerd.
the
I
thing that
hated
I
those
like doing.
days.
I loved those days. And I didn't really understand how people had time to go and take a lunch because like there was so much to do. It's weird because like some days I felt like I was gasping for air because it was so like the practical days, I felt absolutely exhausted.
hmm
Didn't eat for like 8 hours because you can't, there was no
hmm
time because you're always running behind because you're a student, you're not getting done in time.
I didn't have the same experience though because we didn't have people like coming
That is
in
the
and making
difference. We had
appointments
people
that
in.
like we just stressed out, and I was like, I don't know how anybody is doing this and working right now.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I don't know if this sounds ridiculous and I'm just a baby, but like I could not be working throughout this right now. I was like, this is enough because it's
It's
basically a
like 8
full-time
yeah, it's like
job.
8
Like
AM to, like, 3:30 or something,
yeah.
and that's, like, Monday through Friday,
But
but
then, like, you leave school, and then you immediately have to, like, go and, like, do like, you have to study, you have to do your work, and
mhm.
then yeah, I was like, I don't know how anybody has this time.
Well, and the thing too is that because it's so in Florida, it's a relative to some of the other states, it's a more brief program, like, every
Yeah.
single state is different,
Yeah.
but they're still trying to pack a ton of information
Yeah.
into a very small period of time. So, like anything, like learning something and then memorizing it because you know,
Mhm.
like, you're ultimately gonna be tested.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll never forget, there was a question on one of the tests, the practice exam that she would give us that was basically like it was suggesting that the people with the deeper skin
Yeah.
tone had more melanocytes
Mhm.
than people with the lighter skin tone,
Mhm.
which is not true. But the way it was worded was like really weird.
Yeah.
And I went over it with her and she was like, that's not the right answer. And I was
Yeah.
like, but why? And she basically was like, they need to revise the question. But I'm telling
Yeah.
you that this is the right answer.
Also,
So
like, it's so intriguing that, like, the questions on this test probably haven't changed in, like, so long. We could probably go take that test again, and it's the same question.
yes, I would not know the answers as readily as I did
No.
before
No. I'd
because
have to read those flashcards for, like, 3 days straight like I did and just burn them into my brain.
my gosh, we played Kahoot
Yeah.
to prepare and I got so invested.
I was,
I
like
was like, I have to win. I have to win Kahoot.
I was just, like, delusional the whole time. I was like, "I'm gonna fail this test." I would make my boyfriend study, like, read with me, like, read them and, like, I answer the questions. Every person in my life, my parents, Tyler, my sister, who had literally just birthed a baby, and I'm like, "Read me these cards!" Like, literally to the point of, like, I was going to start crying because I had fully convinced myself that I was going to fail the test and that I was stupid and I knew nothing, even though I knew all the answers every time. Like you'd
Mhm,
literally read a word off the card and I'd be like, "Blah, blah, blah." Like I
mhm.
knew the answer. Like I'd synced them all up. And then I still was like, I'm gonna fail this test. And the morning of the test, I think everybody in my class just thought that I was like really annoying and like Because I was literally sitting there and I just started crying because I was like, I'm not going to pass this
Oh
test
my
because I have
God.
really, really bad testing anxiety.
For the record, if we were in the same class together and I saw her start crying, I would think that she was annoying.
I like was having a full on panic attack. I was also not medicated at this time. So I actually probably was having a panic attack. I
She was
remember
doing
like
it for attention.
the girl next to me was like, girl, you're fine. And I was like, I don't think I am. I got 100%.
Same. Like a perfect score. Yeah, that was, oh my gosh. And I was so, because after I finished, because we got our, did you get your score the same day?
I think so, yeah.
We weren't supposed to. And like one of the people, not because there was a rule against it, but because like whoever, you have to go to a different part of the building
Yeah.
and like interact with a different department for the test. And
Oh
they
my
were
God,
saying,
yeah, I forgot about that. Like Miss Lisa
yes.
wasn't in the room and I didn't know that was going to be the case until like day of. And then I was like,
Yeah, and then it's in a completely different part
who
of the
is this
building.
person?
And
I
which
think we were in the
also
same building. We just had to walk to like
different
where,
part of the building.
yeah, where they did
Yes.
the nail class that wasn't existent at the time.
Ours was in a different place
Mm.
because the nail class did exist by that point.
Mm.
But interesting fact, you're more likely to recall information in the setting in which you learned it. Technically, we should have been doing the exam in the room
Mm.
where we were doing all of the theory and the practicals, everything.
But that would just make it too easy.
Too easy.
That would basically be cheating.
What was I gonna say? Oh yes, somebody, one of the classmates.
Oh, yeah.
One of my classmates was like, so we all came down after finishing the exam, and then our instructor was like, well, yeah, so like you're probably gonna get the results like tomorrow. And one of the girls was like, oh hell no, absolutely not. And she literally left the room, walked her ass back up to the room where we did the test, and was like, so the results. And we got the results.
Well, it makes no sense to make people wait.
No, it's a Scantron.
Yeah.
Put it through
Yeah.
put it through the thingy
I
and then
forgot
give
that
me
it
the
was a
results.
Scantron.
I was so anxious. Not because I thought that I wasn't going to pass,
Yeah.
but I was like, if I get one question wrong, I'll never live it down.
Oh, I'm not that person. I don't care. If I get a C and I pass, I'm good. I just need to know that I pass. I have like the anxiety of like my brain tells me I'm going to fail and I'm stupid.
I would have felt stupid if I missed one
A
question.
worse testing anxiety day was when I took my electrology
Oh
test.
yes. I remember you telling me about that.
That was a not fun day because the testing center was in Sarasota, which is like 40 minutes away from my house. And I, again, have testing anxiety. And this test, I was like, I'm going to fail this test because God bless the teacher that taught me in school there. But she wasn't a Miss Lisa. She was just there. She talked us through things, but like, we'd be like, what's the answer to this question? And she'd be like, oh, let me look into that for you. And we're like,
She didn't pretend.
no, she didn't pretend. She didn't pretend. And it was like just a lot more detailed. And you literally had to go to a testing center. Like I didn't take the test at the school that I went to. I had to go to a testing center. I've never been to a testing center before. It's like this.
They're not the nicest place.
No. And it's like where like doctors have to go and take their like boards and nurses and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm just kidding. I just want to laser some coochies. Not actually. Well, yes, but but driving there, I left my house and 5 minutes after I left my house, sitting completely still in my car, this woman rear ends me. And I'm already like, I already can't breathe because I'm going to take this huge test that has a bunch of questions.
At a testing center.
At a testing center. And I'm like sitting there and then this woman rear ends me and I was like,
that's the end.
I just started crying my eyes out. And I was like, I don't know what to do right now. And it really was like, it wasn't a dramatic car accident. But I've never been in an accident before. So like perfect day for this to happen.
Whereas I nearly died in car accidents.
Yeah. First car accident. And I'm going to take the biggest test I've ever taken in my life.
Yeah.
And
great timing.
Got out of the car and this little old lady walks out and I was like, and she's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, oh, I'm not hurt. I'm just really stressed out. I have a test to go take. And
she probably still tells this story. And this lady, she probably is like, you remember that time?
Oh, well, you know what? She can because I tried to be nice. Again, remember the beginning of this? I said I worked in insurance. I worked in insurance. This lady hit me. I was like, let me get your insurance information, but also let me get your phone number because I'm a nice person and I don't want your insurance rates to go up. If I need to fix something on my car, I'll reach out to you directly. And if you want to pay me, you can pay me. And I reached out to her like 2 days later and she literally texted me back and was like, I didn't cause any damage to your car. And I was like, I sent you the pictures. And she's like, there's no way that I did that. You rear-ended my car. Anyway, I filed a claim on her insurance and she's probably still paying for that. So anyway, I was hyperventilating. There was literally another person who had witnessed the accident who like came over and was like,
So you got a testimony.
I mean, no, it's just a rear end. You don't need all that. I didn't even call the police, but I had to call my dad first to make sure that I didn't have to call the police, even though I worked in insurance and I know I don't need to call the police when it's rear end. But I was like, I have to call the police. I'm going to miss my test. I had to call the testing center, hyperventilating, crying still. I'm not joking when I say this. Like, I'm crying this much this whole time. This is how much this one thing threw my whole day off. And called the testing center because it says when you like sign up for the testing, it's like, do not be late. If you're late, you will not be let in. And I'm like, also don't wear earrings. And I'm like, this is a weird restriction.
Wow.
But it was very stressful. And I called the testing center crying. And the guy on the phone was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm okay, I think, but like, I just might be late. And he was like, that's fine. If you have a valid reason to be late, it's okay. Just get here safely.
Imagine them being like, oh, you got in a car accident? That's
I don't care. Get here in time. No, but there was another man at the scene of the crime who like came out as like a nice civilian and didn't know what to do. And he was like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm fine. I just have a test.
He just saw this crazy white lady.
And he was like,
don't touch me.
It's okay.
You don't...
That's how I felt about this man I didn't know. And he like put his hand on me and was like, it's okay.
Even if I was in shambles, if somebody came up and touched me, it would snap me out of it.
I was like, okay. And he was like, do you guys need me here? And I was like, no, I don't need you here.
What a good person.
I passed that test also first time.
Allegedly.
I don't even know what score I got on it, but it was one of those ones where it was on the computer and then they gave you your results. Like, did I get them immediately? Yeah, they gave you the results like immediately. So you press like complete and then be like boop, 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 and then give you your
Which
results.
is almost I don't know that I would say it's more stressful, but it's like it's a different kind of anxiety.
Yeah. It's like the second you hit that button, like that's it. I'd rather just like bubble in some letters or something.
And then have, ruminating thoughts afterwards for a day.
No, I'm glad that I got those results immediately because if I had to wait, I would have been a wreck.
She would have been in a bad way.
In a bad way. And you're like, and I got in an accident for this.
That was a story.
It was a story.
I told you she had stories.
That's my little baby Jetta, who is no longer with us.
No. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. I mean, she might be alive with somebody else.